Hello and welcome to the Gunnar Vibe. With me again, Varun. Thanks so much for joining. Another
No problem.
memorable day for Arsenal. There's three away wins in a row where we have scored 5 goals and more. Um, amazing performance today away at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United really didn't have any chances to speak of. Initial reactions right after the game. What was your feelings?
I think a routine win. Of course, 5 goals is just an additional helps our goal difference. Could go down to goal difference this year. So I think they have it in the back of the mind, and they kind of keep piling the goals and kind of killing off the game in the first half. I think that's the strategy. I think of Arteta this season. And the last time we won more than 5 goals, three consecutively away from home, 1935-36, we actually won the league. So history is on our side, but again, we have gone through our purple patch, and I hope this is sustaining. That's all I can ask for, because now is the business end of the season, entering the business end, and I think last 10 games we just have to keep playing the same way. I have a feeling it's gonna go to a single point this season. It's gonna be 1 point, and that's about it,
Mm.
because it's very tight right now. So that's my initial thoughts. I just hope that all our hard work doesn't end up. I mean, see, it's between three teams this time, so there's a little less pressure on us, which is good. But I just hope we come up with the goods in the next few games, next 11 games. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yes, like you said, we have won. Let's continue winning. But
Yeah.
coming back to this game, no changes to the previous game that we had at the Emirates against Newcastle. We started Jorginho. We had pretty much the rest of the players who were on form. Any any surprises? Did you expect Jorginho to start, or considering this was maybe a simpler game?
Yeah, I think Arteta is trying the combination of Rice and Odegaard, like in like advanced positions, and I think with all the other injuries, I guess Jorginho was the only guy available with Rice being advanced, and I think it worked last time, and it's a game that he could experiment a little bit. I think so. I think he went with that 11. It was too easy for us, knowing that Sheffield are struggling in the bottom, so any result apart from a win today would have been very surprising,
Mhm.
irrespective of the 11. And I think everyone's clicking at this point. Fingers crossed, just no injuries, hopefully to Martinelli, and if everyone's back, we at least have a shot both in the league and the Champions League.
Yeah, it's an important point because it seems at the moment this is like a settled lineup that Arteta has. It's interesting also to know that Jesus is not getting a start despite him coming back from injury. It says a lot about how much Arteta values Havertz, the way Havertz have played in this past few games has been really good. Um, I hope this continues because we have, like you said, we are on the business end of the season. There are tough games ahead, especially the Champions League and later
Yeah,
on against Man City. But we started really well, dominated the position as usual, and we scored an early goal, basically calming all the nerves that Arteta just created for us to say that this
right.
is going to be a tough game. All teams have been having a tough time playing at Bramall Lane. But what are your thoughts about the first half itself? Like we were pretty much free flowing,
Yeah.
interchanging positions and such.
Yeah, I think you touched upon Havertz. I mean, I was one of his skeptic, and like in the beginning of the season, but boy, he has proved like everyone wrong, his critics. He's been exceptional. The reason I wanted to highlight Havertz was actually his positional awareness. if you saw the first goal, I just actually rewatched the whole, extended highlights, and the pullback that for Odegaard, um, you have to see Rice Havertz's awareness and like pulling away from that. Actually, he kind of like comes away from the shot without like causing it to not go into the path of Odegaard. And that I think is exceptional work Havertz has done actually in the past few games where he's put in the right ball, even for like for example Ben White's goal, winning the ball, putting it on the platter for like Ben White. Countless of these things he's done in the past 6 7 games. I think he's been exceptional, and again coming up with goals as well, not just assists, winning duels, but also flowing with goals. And I think this is the Havertz that I think Arteta saw the Bayer Leverkusen Havertz versus the Chelsea Havertz, and I think he's coming to fruition for us at the business end. And I think he's going to be critical in the Champions League. He has that pedigree of winning it, him and Jorginho. So I feel like we're gonna go far, barring I mean like the hiccup that we have in Porto. So I think these guys are gonna be crucial, and I think today we put the game to bed at halftime. I think immediately at halftime, I think Saka was pulled, which was great because you need to protect him for the next few games. Great decision, great squad play by Arteta, like trying to bring in like Fabio Vieira and people who have been on the fringe just coming back from injury. Partey was back, great sign.
Mm.
So I feel today was a great game, and I think the next game as well with Brentford, we can change a little, give some fresh legs opportunities like Smith Rowe, etc., to keep everyone fresh in that tight squad because this is just a warm up for that last run, like the last 10 100 meters. And if you look at the fixtures, I think we have the toughest of the 10 last fixtures compared to City and Liverpool because once they play each other, I think both their fixtures are pretty easy. Except for like the City and Arsenal game. So I think Arteta is kind of like revving up the whole squad. Today he didn't even bring in Trossard unless he was bought as a sub. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think we overall look good. Everyone's coming back at the right time, especially like Partey, hopefully Timber, and all the offensive players are back now. I think so. I think only Zinchenko and Tomiyasu and Timber are out like for a long time, but I
Mm.
think people are slowly coming back, and that's a good sign for Arsenal. So
Yeah, I mean, you touched upon fullbacks, Tomiyasu and Timber.
yeah.
How about the fullbacks who played today, Kivior and Ben White? Ben White's
Oh,
goal was very, very impressive, but
yeah.
um,
Kivior has been very underrated actually. I think he actually now Zinchenko has no chance of coming in. The reason being not just the fullback role he's playing, but also the defensive solidity. Right, the goals have virtually stopped leaking in. I think the only mistake Kivior has done this season was that own goal against Liverpool in the FA Cup. But beyond that, I don't think he's put a foot wrong. I think he's adjusted. I think Arteta touched upon this in his interview prior to the game. Ben White and Kivior we don't talk about, but these guys are exceptional. Like they're so underrated. And Ben White is just a cool and composed guy, and his finish, oh my god, with his left foot was amazing. Like he was as like a Cristiano Ronaldo kind of finish, and I think he deserved it. So I'm happy. Kivior got a goal here and there as well. So like they're scoring in goals. Literally just let 3 goals in the last 7 games. Exceptional defensive record. Still only let 23 goals in as a defensive unit this season.
mm,
Um, I hope that the best defense wins the league, and that's gonna be my hope. I think we are the best defense. Like 27 games. So hopefully we can continue this form. If we play like this, I think we'll win it. I mean, there's no question about it. It's just the question is not that just us winning. It's so tight that we have to depend on someone losing as well, right?
mm,
Apart from the City game, we don't have any direct we've already done the dent on Liverpool. We got 4 points from them. We got 3 points from Man City. The thing is, these three are so tight and like far away from everyone that there's very little room for error at this point. And
Mhm.
that is something that worries me. I don't know how we're gonna get through this season as fans.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like I think you also mentioned about uh, players coming back.
yeah.
We saw was this Vieira coming back. He, he he was good. Like he was all around the place. He's touched on his right hand touchline, but he also came in. Partey was, I would say, okay, a little bit rusty for a first start in a while. He gave away a couple of balls, but yeah, we will definitely need Partey in the run in. And also Jesus, he was also a little rusty. You could sense that
He could have,
he,
yeah, he
he
could have
had
got
a
the seventh actually. He could have
yeah,
got
he
Arsenal
had a couple
seventh,
of
but
good
yeah,
chances. He just tried to dribble a little bit, but I think it will come. It shows the pecking order also. Like you don't see Smith Rowe getting a chance. You don't get Reece Nelson getting a chance. NKT has not given a lot of minutes lately. So this seems to be like the core, like maybe the 13, 14, maybe even 15 players if you include Zinchenko and
uh,
Timber coming
yep,
back.
yep,
Um,
yep,
so it's a good core. There is going to be a lot of competition in the next coming games. Brentford has historically been pretty tough for us. We have won last year, I think, but we still, with Ivan Tony back, you never know what is going to
yeah,
happen. However, this is a go home game. What are
yeah.
your thoughts about that game?
Yeah, I think Brentford might be a little tough. Maybe we'll still win it. I think at the form that we are in, and Brentford have not been the same since Tony was out, and then since he's back, he's scored a goal, couple of goals here and there, but I don't think they have the same bearings, like as how they were last season. I mean, they beat City twice last season, but this year they barely they've barely been winning a lot. So they were challenging the top seven last season, but this year they've fallen back. So I don't think I'm overly worried about the game. I think we'll do our part. This is actually a good chance. We for the first time are playing before City and Liverpool, of course,
Mm,
who are playing each other on Sunday. So this will be a psychological boost. If we get our win, we'll be top, with 64 and then 63, 62. And in case Liverpool win, again, we'll be second, but at least 3 points will be off of City. I would rather hope for a Liverpool win than a City win or a draw because City know how to claw back, right? Those three
mm,
points lost by City, I think, will be valuable. And if we can go to Etihad and avoid defeat, that will at least keep City at 4 points distance from like at least Liverpool and Arsenal. Um, Between Liverpool and Arsenal, they are not Liverpool are not as ruthless as City, right? They do tend to make mistakes. They do barely win. Like I mean, Nottingham Forest was literally like the club farewell tour. I think I was texting you. They
mm.
were like not gonna win that game, right? The referee just kept adding minutes, and even beyond the 6 to 8 minutes, they just keep playing. And then once they scored, they blew the whistle. So
Yeah.
I feel like Liverpool are still top, but they're hanging by the thread. But I think City are the real deal. I still feel City are the real deal. And if Arsenal can avoid defeat at Etihad and if Liverpool actually beat them at Anfield, I think that's going to be a really positive result for us. Temporarily, Liverpool will look like they're top again. I think that's going to be a better result for us versus a City win will actually knock Liverpool out. And it's gonna like create a gap between us and City as well. So that's my hope: us winning, and then hopefully Liverpool winning. And then, but Liverpool have a challenge. They have way too many injuries. If you see, their squad is super
Mm,
thin. So and City are just hitting their stride. So it is worrying that City have found their form as usual in the last 15 games, and even the United game, they never looked at that they were going to lose it 1-0. They knew that they're going to come back.
mm,
Man United were just I don't know how they were top, right? Like in like 1-0 ahead. That was a really good goal by Rashford, but there was no way they could last 90 minutes. So I am more worried about City than Liverpool, if you ask me in general. And the six-pointer tilt between us and Liverpool with City is going to be massive. I think that'll change. So within next 3 weeks, I feel like it'll be kind of decided a little bit. So let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, after the Brentford and the Porto home games, we
Yeah,
play Man City, like you pointed out.
yeah,
But there is almost a 2 week gap. In between, obviously, there is a.
yeah. I think 18 days actually. We have another Dubai. We should make another Dubai trip.
Well, depends on how many players are there. We'll probably lose some players to international duty. So, but definitely right after that, we have the City game, which is super important. I was looking at the fixtures. So after City, there is almost 9 games left. Uh, Pretty tough games. I know some of the teams that we are playing are also in the relegation dogfight. So that's going to be interesting. Luton is one. We already had a 4-3 game at Luton. We play Aston Villa. We play Tottenham. We play Man United, Brighton, Everton. So it's and Wolves. So there are pretty good
And
games in there.
yeah, and
Um,
Wolves away is I mean, Spurs away, Wolves away, Brighton away, and Man United away, right? These are four tough games, I feel like.
mm,
Rest of it, I think I'm not too worried, but these four. But if you look at the other two title contenders' fixtures, I think once Liverpool face Man City, after that they are barely. I think Man United is the only fixture. I
mm,
surprisingly have a feeling Manchester United are going to have a say on where the title is going. I mean, we already saw they lost, they fell flat against City. They would probably do it again against Liverpool, but they always show up against us. And the problem is the second last game is at Old Trafford. If it was at Emirates, I would have been like, okay, we can still beat them. We can
mm,
still pull the victory there, but we haven't won there in a while. Like we haven't. I think Aubameyang. Uh, I don't think we even won there. The last victory there was in the FA Cup where Danny Welbeck scored like a couple goals and we won 2-0. We've
mm,
always come back with a minor loss or a draw. And last season, as you remember, like Saka scored the initial goal, and like they scored 3-1, and it's been a tough place to go, and that is what worries me. That United, unfortunately, will have the last laugh on where the title is going or staying. Hopefully, not in Manchester. And
mm,
I think those are the only four fixtures that could turn. Like us facing United, uh, Liverpool facing United, and then us facing City and Liverpool facing City. And I think those four games are the only ones that can swing. Tottenham do play Man City at their home, where Man City has not won in like 10 years. So that could be potential place where City could drop points. But I don't see much points to be dropped by City. That's the problem. And like the way they're playing, maybe 2 3 games and that's it. That's the two games that leaders face each other, and then maybe Spurs game, and that's about it. So if anything has to happen to City, it's the next four games because they have Brighton away, Liverpool away, us at home, and I think they play Aston Villa at home. If
mm,
they don't drop points here, it's done deal. I mean, like City are gonna just take over because um, they have the easier fixture list after that.
mm. Okay.
So yeah,
Well,
I don't think the fixtures are kind to us. I feel this season. Um, Everton home is usually our last game every season almost.
mhm,
As you said, who knows where they are in the relegation at that time? But if it goes to the last day, I think it'll be interesting. But I hope we can sustain it. That's my goal. Just that keep keep us in the title chase until the last game of the season. I think that then it'll be interesting. It's gonna be a point. It's gonna be like 87, 88, 86. It's basically like how the table is right now. Imagine just add 20 points to everyone. A result here and there, and that's about it.
mm. Yeah, I mean, those pictures, like you said, are going to be 6 pointers, especially the Liverpool Man City and the Arsenal Man City game. Well, we'll see when it comes. Obviously, the next game is the most important. Like Arteta says, um, we'll talk about the reaction to the Brentford game when it comes. It's going to be an early kickoff, like you said. Super Sunday awaits. We have Man City, Liverpool, and Aston Villa, Tottenham. So interesting games, not just the top two, but also
The
fourth,
top
fifth
four
who are
race.
chasing us in the title race. So,
I mean,
or at least for the
yep,
top. So,
yep. I mean,
we'll see.
Tottenham have faded away. I mean, Aston Villa have faded away. Brighton has not been the same this season.
Mm,
So it's the three, and then then the rest, right? It's kind of like everyone else is just fighting each other. Man United, for example, right? They win some days like really well, and then they just lose the other time. So it's a very unpredictable. I mean, beyond the three, I'm not too worried. Like I don't really care about these other teams,
yeah.
but it's gonna be interesting, and I feel like this season Arteta is building some. So last season was we were not supposed to be there, kind of, right? But
Mm,
I feel if you take away last season, thinking Arsenal were top, imagine we were in the top four fight last season. In Arteta's trajectory, I think this is the season where we are supposed to be where we are,
mhm,
and this looks more sustainable.
yeah.
We are legit. Like last season I was like, oh no, we are gonna collapse, right? Because we don't have the experience. But I feel with the guys like Rice and these few additions, Havertz, who have been there, done that. Maybe not in the league, but in different scenarios. He's built that core, and I think those are the guys who are keeping us on par. And of course, all the added experience from the guys last season, right? Like Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, who went through the pain of losing the title. I feel we're gonna be there for a while. I feel like Arsenal are gonna be challenging for the title for the next 5, 6 seasons, and I think that's what makes me feel more comfortable than putting all my eggs in one basket, which is this season, right? Like
Mhm,
because you never know we could lose it by a point. So I think I'm positive about the next 5 seasons.
mhm,
And I think Arteta is building that thing as well. And I think that's the project.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Obviously, the season is the most important. We are heading into it's probably what would be considered as a very important week for Arsenal, not just a weekend game against Brentford, but also the Champions League fixture against Porto, which unfortunately for Arsenal didn't go our way. So hopefully we will be able to get that around and get a win
Yeah.
at Emirates. Both
By the
wins.
way, Porto won their game 5-0 this weekend as well. And we have won the game 5-0 as well. So we're like challenging, and they're third as well in their league, and we are third as
Mm,
well in our league. So that's going to be a tight game. I feel Porto's loss was an unfortunate one. I don't think we discussed that after, but
mm,
I don't think we're going to win 5-0 against them. But I think it's going to probably be a 3-1 or something. We'll still get over the line, and that's all that matters, right? It's
mm,
that was a I watched the entire 90 minutes, but I think that was probably the only minute we switched off
yeah.
defensively, and we
Mm,
conceded it. And that was the last kick of the game. Unfortunately, we it was just a lapse, and they punished us. So hopefully, we have learned from our mistake, and we keep our Champions League run going as well. So
yeah.
let's connect after the Brentford game.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right,
leave it
Arun.
at that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Varun.
Thank you
And
so much, Arun. Yeah.
like, yeah, like you said, we'll connect after the Brentford game, and hopefully we have a win to talk about at the Emirates. But until then, thank you. If you have seen this, please subscribe, like, and subscribe to this channel. We appreciate the time that Varun has put in for us,
we are
and
all
also,
we're all in this together. So yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
also any comments that you have for us to improve or any topics that you want us to discuss, feel free to throw in a chat.
Yeah.
Again,
Trash
Varun,
talking is fine too.
that is true.
Any
Uh,
publicity is good publicity.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, until then, happy times for Gunners,
Yeah.
and thank you. Come on,
Thank you
Gunners.
so much, Arun, for having me. And yeah, like we'll connect again. Hopefully after another win, and hopefully after City's defeat at Anfield. And that's what I'm praying for. So talk to you soon. And Gunnar, stay safe and keep supporting. Cheers.
Bye. Thanks, Warren.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.